Hi, fifth graders. I hope you had a great weekend. Welcome back. So, today we're going to be working on comparing and ordering unit fractions. These past few weeks, we've really been working on what is a fraction, how to draw them, how to represent them. So, we're moving on to the next step and we're going to start comparing and ordering them. Okay, so we're going to be using a few things through this lesson. We're going to be using manipulatives and they're going to be like fraction strips. And so I'm going to be showing you how to use those really quick and then we can get right into our lesson. So you're going to be using this to help you kind of go through the lesson, and you can it's on Canvas. It's a link and you can just click right onto it and it take you to it. So you can move these strips around and it kind of helps you compare the different fractions. So this represents 1, and so if I wanted to compare 1 and 1/6, I could just draw it up there. If I wanted to see which one was bigger, is it 1/6 or 1/12? This represents 1/12. And I see, oh, 1/6 is bigger. So we're going to be using this as we go through the lesson. And I'm going to refer back to the fraction strips every once in a while so that it can help us, okay? All right. So a strategy that we used last week is read, draw, write, RDW, and we're going to continue using it this week as well because it really helps us with word problems. We're not going to be doing a lot of word problems today, but we will later on in the week, and it still helps us, okay? So remember, read the problem, circle important numbers or words, and then what are you trying to figure out? Draw a model or a picture, and then write your equation and your answer, okay? So we're going to start off by comparing fractions using fraction strips specifically. So this is really going to help with the manipulatives because those are fraction strips, okay? So we're going to do 1/5 or 1/3 larger. Well, when you are drawing a picture, make sure that your strips or your rectangle or whatever you're drawing is the exact same size because that's how you can really tell and compare the fractions, okay? So I'm going to go ahead and draw. I already have my squares and they're the exact same size. So my first one is 1/5. So that means I need 5 even sections because 5 is my whole, that's on the bottom, that's the denominator, and I only need 1/5 of it colored in, okay? So I'm going to go ahead and draw that. 1, 2, 3, 4. As you can see, I tried to make them as even as possible. It may not be perfect, just try your best, okay? And then this is 1/5, 2/5, 3/5, 4/5, 5/5, which equals 1 whole, and I just need to color in 1/5, okay? All right, next is 1/3. So again, what is my whole? I know that 3 is the denominator. That tells me how many pieces I have all together, and 1 tells me how many is shaded in, okay? So that's the numerator. So I'm going to draw 3 as best as possible. I'm going to draw 3. I want it black there. 3 even spaces, okay? This is 1/3. This would be 2/3, and this would be 3/3. And then if I color in my 1/3, okay? So for our strategy, we kind of read this problem, then we are drawing, and now it's time to write. Is 1/5 larger or is 1/3 larger, okay? So looking at our picture, I can see that 1/3 is a lot more than 1/5. And then if I go back to my strips, I had 1/3, and then let's see, and 1/5. And that again shows you that 1/3 is larger than 1/5. So we're going to go back and we're going to write 1/5 is greater than 1/3. Okay? So now we're going to practice using a number line, comparing fractions using a number line. So we're going to read the problem. Is 1/2 or 1/4 larger? So on a number line, very similar to our fraction strips, but it is different, and we've practiced this. So when you're drawing a number line, you have to remember to start with 0 and 1. Okay. And then again, what's our denominator? So how many even spaces should we have? 4. So we're going to do 0, 1, 2, 3. And then this 1 is the 4th. So this would be 1/4, 2/4, 3/4, and 1 would be 4/4. Okay. And so where would we go ahead and put the 1/4? Right there. Okay. So next we need to, I did the 1/4 first. So now we're going to do the 1/2. Okay. Same thing. We show our 0 and our 1. And then we know that this, I'm going to kind of write it off to the side, is 2/2. Have our even parts. That's going to be 1/2. And we're going to mark that 1/2 with the red dot. So comparing our lines, okay, our number lines, we can see that 1/2 is much more than 1/4. Okay, it's because from 0 to 1/4 is right here, and 0 to 1/2 is right here. So we're going to go ahead and say that 1/2 is larger, greater than 1/4. Okay. If we want to go ahead and compare that with our number sentence, we can, or sorry, not our number sentence, our fraction strips. We can choose 1/2, and we can choose 1/4, and again, we can see which one is larger. Okay. All right, so now we're going to go to ordering fractions. We're going to be using our number lines to order fractions again. So I'm going to go ahead and pick the ones that I want to do first. I'm going to do 0, 1, and then 1/2, and then I'm going to give you a little time to do the 1/5 and the 1/10, which may be a little harder. So I'm going to do 0 and 1 on the same number line because we know that 0 is right there, and 1's right there, okay? 0 is always at the beginning, and depending on your number line, 1's going to be at the end with unit fractions. All of them are going to go in the middle of 0 and 1, okay? So let's go ahead and I'm going to cross those two off because I did them. Now let's do 1/2, okay? We did 1/2 earlier. So I'm going to go ahead and show that. So right here we have our 1/2. I'm going to go ahead and mark 0 and 1. Okay. So I'm going to pause for a second and give you time to do the 1/10 and 1/5. And I'm going to be doing it also as you try and do it, so you can follow along if you need a little help. All right. All right, so as you can see, I didn't label all of mine right here, but I'm going to go ahead and talk through it. So I have 0 and 1, and then I made dash marks in between, knowing that this would be 10 over 10. So 1/10, 2/10, 3/10, 4/10, 5/10, 6/10, 7/10, 8/10, 9/10, and 10/10. So this dot right here would equal my 1/10, okay? And then I did my 1/5. And so we have 0. I know that my 1 is 5 over 5, 5/5. So then I go ahead and count 1/5, 2/5, 3/5, 4/5, 5/5. So I can make my dot right there. So if I'm comparing all of these, I see that 1 is the largest. I can see that 1/2 is next, 1/5, 1/10, and 0. So I'm ordering my fractions from the least to the greatest. So if I order from the least to the greatest, least is 0. Next is 1/10. Next is 1/5. Then 1/2 is over here. And last is 1. Okay, so that's ordering my fractions from least to greatest using a number line. Okay, I also want to show you the game that is in Canvas. It is a little more difficult, but it really shows you how to think about a number line. So we did 4 different number lines to order our fractions. So on the game, you're going to, oops, sorry, I have to find the game. There it is. So you click play, and then it gives you your unit fraction. So you don't have a number line right here, but you can always go back to your fraction strips, or you can draw your own picture. And so you're going from least to greatest. So I know like 1 is the greatest, and then I think of my number line, I draw a number line, and then once I have it all in order, it'll say correct, and it'll go to the next one. So I kind of wanted to show you how to play that so that you could practice ordering your fractions, okay? If you have any questions, let me know, and I hope you have a great rest of your week. I will see you on Wednesday. Bye.